morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure being here in the presence of such an enlightened technology group. So what presentation we have, it is a slightly different presentation from what we have been seeing for yesterday and today. This is basically a nuts and bolts perspective on automation, covering my organization. On the behalf of Grasim Harihar, I thank ARC and BHEL EDN for giving me an opportunity to present my experiences in automation to this August gathering. So yesterday we had an insightful presentation by Srimati Bhattacharya on control system requirements. So she focused on NTPC, what NTPC is doing. Of course, we all know NTPC is NTPC. It is a giant. The requirements of an industrial plant, industrial captive cogen plant, are slightly different from what NTPC requires. So, for a captive cogen plant, thermal energy, in terms of what steam is required for the process, that is more important than power. So, there is a slightly different spin on what is required for a thermal plant, for a captive cogen plant. And we heard a lot of vendors speak about efficiency. So, for my kind of power plant, effectiveness is more important than efficiency. Of course, efficiency is important, but effectiveness counts even more. So, this presentation is of two parts. So, one part is the actual requirement as an end user, end technology user, so which will be covered by me. And second part is the actual implementation of the solution, which will be covered by Vishwanath sir of BHEL EDN. So, let me begin the presentation by making a brief introduction on my concern. So, Grasim Industries Limited, Harihar, it is a part of the Aditya Birla Group, and it is a diversified portfolio of industries covering metals, telecom, cement, textiles, pulp and fiber. So, the organization I speak, it is a pulp and fiber based manufacturing center. So, the unit at Grasim Harihar, this is in the state of Karnataka. It is a fully integrated pulp and fiber manufacturing concern. So, the raw material for our plant is eucalyptus wood. So, we source it locally, and we have some captive forests also to meet our requirement. So, basically, we manufacture pulp from eucalyptus wood, and this pulp is used in our fiber manufacturing concern. So, this is a snapshot of the pulp manufacturing system. So, you can see here, this is the pulp plant, and in the background there, this is the recovery section, and this is our clarifier section. Similarly, this pulp is processed to fiber in the fiber making system, and so you can see the one in the background, that is the fiber manufacturing concern. In the front is the viscose manufacturing concern. So, this plant was commissioned in the year 1972. The technology is developed in-house. So, major raw material is eucalyptus wood, and for the fiber division, raw material is the pulp produced from the pulp plant. So, you can see that there are various products. One is VSF, viscose staple fiber, sodium sulfate, carbon disulfide, sulfuric acid. So, you can see from the slide that power is not a product. So, what we manufacture is captive in nature. So, whatever power we generate, it is consumed by our own industry. So, this power plant for which we are talking about control system, this has got 2 into 100 TPH CFBC, circulating fluidized bed combustors. These are supplied from IJT Noida, which has a tie-up with Fossabilla USA for the CFBC boilers. It is the latest kind of CFBC boilers what we have procured. It is a compact separator type CFBC in comparison to other CFBCs operating. And we have a 20 megawatt TG set. This we have procured from BHEL. It is a double internally controlled steam turbine. So, I said we have a process, we have to supply steam to the process. So, HP and LP steam, they are both controlled internally through the turbine governor. And other than this, we have our BOP, standard BOPs as in a power plant, cooling tower, compressor system, coal and ash handling system. So for all these systems, we have a DCS. In fact, we have two separate DCSs. One is for steam generators, other is for the BOPs, and of course for the steam turbine generator. So this is a snapshot of the power plant. The building you can see in the front is the steam turbine building, and the blue colored structure you can see in the background. It is a tall CFBC boiler. So we have two kind of boilers. So this is the snapshot of the turbine hall, where you can see the turbine and turbine generator. And this is a snapshot of the boiler from the ESP end. This is the control room, which houses the DCS and control panels. So this is the BOP section, cooling tower and ash handling system. So we'll talk about the process parameters. These boilers are designed for 64 ATA and 485 degrees centigrade. See, many of you sitting here will be surprised at the pressure levels in the plant. As I said earlier, this is a captive cogen plant, and steam is required much more than power. So we cannot afford to go for higher pressures because we need to extract more steam out of the turbines. So HP we are extracting through a controlled extraction. The pressure ranges from 15 to 17.5 ATA. Of course, this is controlled by the garner. And LP steam, so it varies between 3 ATA and 4 ATA. Again, this is also a controlled extraction, controlled again by the garner. And the turbine load, it varies between 14.5 to 15.5. And you can see from the slide that HP steam requirement is at 45 tons and LP steam is at 90 tons. And what is left out is around 10 tons, which goes to the condenser. If you give the same steam to NTPC or some power major, they'll say that you can generate around 45 megawatt. But this is what we are doing. And this is the intricacy of the plant. And focusing on the process, so we are firing a blend of Indian imported coal. And one more intricacy in the plant is that there is a pulp and fiber manufacturing concern. So the pulp plant, it operates at a lower pressure cycle, 45 kgs, and we operate at a higher pressure cycle. So whatever is the steam shortfall in the pulp concern, that has to be met by our concern. And if there is any steam surplus in the pulp plant, that we have to consume by means of PRDS. So when we give it by PRDS, the turbine governor has to control the HP steam. So it is a very critical process. If the governor is having some delay or is unable to control, it could cause a tripping in the turbine. So that's why the requirement of the governor or the tuning of the governor is very important. So like any process plant, there's a lot of HP and LP steam variation and even electrical load variation. So whatever control system we design, it has to be designed to accommodate these different pressure bands, different electrical loads, and of course, part load operation. So recently, we have expanded our capacities. So from 140 TPD, we have gone to 240 TPD. So this entire power plant was expanded, and this has to meet the expansion requirement. So we went for a DCS system based on our diligence and our experience with BHEL. We decided to go for Metso DNA based DCS system. So the actual commissioning part of the DCS system, actual engineering part, it will be covered by Viswanatha sir. I invite him to come over.
It's a good opportunity for me to speak to such a large professionals and various industry representatives. In fact, like as my partner has said, it is more of a case study presentation on how we have heard a lot of requirements, we have heard a lot of needs, how it has to be and other things. So we have been, as an automation manufacturer, we have been trying to put here how at least few of the systems, few of the requirements has been put forth or put into operation. As it was said, of course, we have been supplying a lot of equipments for the power plants, of utility plants, larger power plants, much larger combination plants, cogen plants, and other things. However, when we want to design a control system for a captive power plant, the control requirements are very stringent, and the requirements and the implementation has to be very precise. Because as you said, when you're doing a large capacity utility plant, the utility plant has to only produce power and it has to be connected to the grid. Once it is getting connected to the grid, it has to be supplying the power. Whereas in a captive power plant, the equipment has to supply not only the power, also the process steam requirement. And the process steam requirements will vary very much as per the process requirements. Any shortfall or any problem happening in the process requirement will suddenly reflect onto the process steam requirement to be reduced or to be increased. At that time, the control system has to take care and it has to give the corrective this thing so that it can at that time increase the power production. So the process steam production and the power production, they are complementary in nature, and the boiler is giving a steam of a particular quantity, and that has to be equally shared between these two so that a judicious mix of this thing has to be done. So the control system has to be very precisely designed to do this. And how we take the process steam is, most of you are aware, it is taken from the different sections of the turbine, it is extracted, and the extraction is controlled through governing process. So the governing has to be much more precisely designed, and the valves have to be operated, HP, IP, LP valves have to be operated so that we meet both the requirements without any fluctuations. And second thing, what happens in such a processes is that these industries, their requirement seems to be, for a lot of people who are here, 10 megawatt, 20 megawatt. For a larger power plant, it is much less than the auxiliary power consumption. But for these power plants, there is a total need for them, and it has to be available to them all the time without any variation, and the quality of power has to be same. So many a times they can get into that grid and get the output, but sometimes the grid restrictions and availability, sometimes the variations happening in the grid also put them into a situation where they have to work independently out of the grid. So the power quality has to be very clearly put. This is a requirement of most of the industrial plants which you have been coming across. And the second situation is that when we have a system, we have to connect it to the grid. If the extra power is produced, it can be fed back to the grid under power purchase agreement to the grid, or they can take it. And when suddenly the grid disturbance happens, then this plant has to get isolate itself, and it has to continue to support to the local internal requirements without disturbing the process. This is what we have been discussing yesterday as islanding scheme and other things. So islanding operation of the plant is also one of the very much essential requirement. So these are the various requirements what are the captive power plant. Like yesterday we have been talking about the utility plant requirements and other things. So these are the basic features we have to consider. So these things we have to have a lot of interaction with our customers, his process requirements, his electrical system stabilities and all these things. We'll have to work on it. And we have been doing these activities, and this particular case we have done it, and we have provided and commissioned, we have demonstrated to them. They're quite happy with that. So I'll just go through some glimpses of what has been done in this case. So we have supplied a DCS system of for a double controlled extraction machine with a 20 megawatt turbine, and the process steam parameters, as it has been told earlier, 145 tons total and 45 tons on the LP. Then this system has been commissioned recently in the month of April, and all the tests with respect to operations and operation dynamics have been fully done. Another thing is, when we are implementing a system for a smaller power plant, there are constraints about you cannot have a very elaborate control systems for this, because we have to control the cost also, and it has to be well within the capex expenditure of the client. So we have to make a very optimum design of the system so that we give all the facilities what we give it to a normal large power plant. At the same time, it has to be well within his budget. So we have done this system configuration to match this requirement with only a limited number of automation nodes so that we are able to perform all the functions. So we have done with only a smaller automation nodes, about three automation nodes are done, so that all the turbine automation is totally done from the startup, as well as the excitation system is also included into that, so that we have a continued or a interconnected system. As we have been seeing here, the operator interface and the historian data, data collection, information to the operator, these are the very critical issues in nowadays operating power plants. Even though the front-end electronics has to work as per the requirement, so the human-machine interface becomes a very clear and very important parameter in the whole process. So we have to have the complete engineering station has to be available so that any changes and any modifications or any additional information can be easily seen. Operator workstations are required in multiple nodes so that we take care of, in the event of one failure of one operator node, the other operator node can seamlessly continue the operation. And we have to have a backup node, information server for storage of data, and also the long-term storage, and we can generate all the information, trends, logs, replay, all these things can be done. So the system what we have employed in this is a powerful system which can handle all the types of field inputs, direct field inputs, the hard connectivities are there, Profibus field bus connection, wireless connectivity, in addition to the directly connected I/O inputs. And the HMI has got a lot of functionalities like multi-windows, then multi-monitor supports we can do, and we can store the pictures. And that's one of the interesting thing in everybody in operator station, if there are multiple operators in different shifts or multiple operators different operating conditions, suddenly when they want to look and check the item, they want to get back to one set of screenshot they want to do. So otherwise you have to navigate through some 10 different things, or whenever the operator changes, he has to come back and reset his screen pictures. Instead of that, we have provided a facility so that those screenshots, particular to a situation or particular to a operator requirement, it can be made and stored. So whenever he says with a single click of a button, he can get it so that he can be much more comfortable in his own way of operation. This is one thing I think most of the utility people know, that every operator has his own preferences of looking at the data and doing the information. Then we have got a very strong, robust architecture with a ring topology with Ethernet communication, and it can handle much more than one single point failures. Another information is that when he is operating the plant, he is seeing the plant parameters. At the same time, when you want to have information what is happening or what additional precaution he has to take, he should be able to see the process requirements easily, so that the facilities of this also can be done. And like yesterday it was said, history mode. History mode has been one of the very important requirements nowadays, and we have tried to give this feature also in this plant so that they are able to handle the failure analysis or the fault analysis very comfortably. Then various reports, alarms, these features are there, and also the all level of diagnostics have been improved so that the plant operator will be able to operate, and if in the event of any problem, he can take a very quick corrective action. And also we had a facility for interconnecting or connecting the system from the plant control room to a remote control room, either at the customer's premises at the headquarters or at the service providers or automation suppliers' place, so that we can give remote connectivity and remote support, on which we can give we can view the complete information, we can do the necessary additional upgrades we can load, or we can see and give even operational suggestions can be given. These are some of the points. We have got an efficient alarm analysis system with a sequence of event recording. A lot of points can be selected. And also the time machine, what we have discussed yesterday about the replay mode. This replay mode can be selected, in which once you go to the replay mode, then the information or how process pictures have happened, the process data has worked out, and what commands are given, everything can be seen by offline mode by the other analyzing person, so that he can say exactly what has gone wrong with that, and so that he can take corrective action future those things cannot be, they need not be repeated. And all the interlocking descriptions can be done. And whatever the data one operator does at one particular point of time, he can goes on recording into a diary, and so that an online diary is available, this information can be made available to the operator. These features has been implemented, and today these are the features are very much finding advantage to them, and they have been using it, and so that their operational activities or the operational comforts have increased much more. Like for example, there are different types of trends we can have. All the trends we can be done, the pre-configured trend. In addition to that, if they want, they can also have immediately drag and drop trends can be achieved. And we can also put all the information. Long-term trends are available. This is one of the maintenance tool, so that's what I was telling. In the event of a particular plant operation is not there, immediately the operator can go and he can have the reference that instead of going by without going to any book or the manual or anything, he can get all the information related to that particular device, and he can read the information and he can improve the information. And this information can be improved as the time comes, as the experience grows. This information can be much more and more, so that knowledge is already built into the system, so that the operator actions and the operating actions are comfortably improved. Similarly, diagnostics are there, so that any failure happens, which can be immediately coming to them, so that he doesn't have to wait for the multiple failures to occur, so that the plant will go into a unsafe condition. So he gets all information immediately, so that he can take the corrective action. This information can be even done by the plant supervising operator also, so that the plant health is always maintained well. That's what he was telling. The plant availability and the availability is the most important in case of a captive power plant. So also in the other cases, these are the standard features nowadays. Is coming with most of the automation, these things. So these are all provided. Then we have got some additional features they wanted, because they wanted to know what are the alarm. If an alarm comes and if somebody doesn't take an action so that the alarm is killed or alarm is corrected, so how long an alarm has been there persisting, so that they want to know what are the reason and other things. So there's a alarm duration report has been made to them, and also the how long a display and the longest standing alarms for a given time period are also given, so that these things can be taken by the operating and people and the maintenance people, and they say how to take corrective actions. So say an alarm comes and the alarm goes back only after the fault is cleared. So how long you take a time to create a fault or remove a fault is one thing which improves. At that much of time, the machine is in some sort of a different mode, so that this one particular service is not fully available. So it has to be corrected as early as possible. So this will give to the maintenance people how long they have been taking, so that this time duration has to be as minimum as possible to have the efficient plant operation. Also, the Pareto reports give the most frequent alarm tags, so that they know exactly what is the critical issue which is repeating again and again, so that they should take the corrective action. And this has to be done on this thing, and they have to do a root cause analysis of this problem, and they can do it. These are all the requirements. In fact, we have been working with Harrier. This is not the first plant. We have been doing earlier things. Some of the feedbacks, what we have been getting it, so we tried to take care of these things in the new plant when we gave. We said we'll give you much more comfort in your plant, so that we have tried to sing. So they're also quite participative in all the discussions. We had a lot of internal discussions before implementing these control solutions. Like the way we are discussing about the requirements, the 1:1 interactions have happened, and we have tried to implement and we demonstrated things. They said, no, some more changes have to be done. So we gave the features, and they're quite happy. Maybe we are going to work with them for some more time, so that we totally stabilize their plant and make their working very comfortable, so that once he has an automation solution for his plant, it has to be really automatic, and he has to work continuously without any problem. Similarly, operator response is another thing. Also, he has to keep a tag on the operator, how they are responding to various situations. Even the operator responses can be there on the thing, average value of the operator response time taken, so that if we find that one particular operator is not able to take a quick action, he can get into a reasoning why he is not taking. Does he require more information? does he require more training, or he has to be given more information? So they can pinpoint the very specific issues, like the alarm duration report and the operator response duration things will definitely improve their work efficiency and trying to train their operators and the other maintenance staff. Of course, we have a strong engineering tool for doing any site modifications or the logic modifications, improvements, and all picture modification, whatever the things are there. See, normally in process plants, as the requirement goes on, after some particular operation, they will add some process and other things. If they want to do some more pictures and some more additional information to be covered, so we have got a very strong engineering tool that is also we have given to them, and we have trained them how to use it, and we also support them whenever they need. These are for the changing the picture designs. So this is the first double extraction machine at Grasim Harihar with the new technology, and we have given, so far we have achieved a maximum load of 16 megawatt. We have successfully carried out islanding operations at 4 megawatt load, and sometime we have also tried out about 50% load through-offs we have tried out, and we did not find any variation beyond the acceptable limits. And the LP extraction is taken at 2.5 kg and HP extraction is taken at 15.4 kg. See, this is one requirement in the extraction machines or the process plants. They have to take so much of steam at so much of pressure. So this has to be very consciously and very correctly controlled. This is one of the most important critical loop tuning process parameter when we have it. And today, because of the various other reasons, they have been operating the machine on solo condition. That means they are not connecting to grid. So they are operating, so the quality of frequency, the quality of voltage levels have to be very precise, because they're not getting, because once you connect to the grid, you are governed by the grid frequency. So if you're operating a solo operation, they have to be very precise, because a sudden one major load gets off. Say out of 20 megawatt, if there is a one load of about 3 to 4 megawatts gets switched off or gets switched on, that will immediately impact on the speed of the machine, which can increase or decrease the frequency of the system. So that has to be maintained, and that has to be corrected in a very short time. So these control parameters we have ensured and we have demonstrated and shown to them, so that within operating, most of the times their machine is operating on the solo system. As an automation supplier, we have been supplying the control solutions. We don't provide nowadays, like yesterday also discussing, don't supply as products, supply as solutions. So these are the things we are also keeping in mind, and we want to give an integrated operation. And we have been operating in all regimes of various plant operations and the power plant requirements. So we have doing it from the generation to distribution and the transmission. So this is what our experience. And in fact, yesterday there were some questions on the islanding conditions and other things. If there are specific requirements of the islanding, like RINL person were telling, so we are ready to interact with you and give you our propositions or our advisors, how you have to handle those things or how you have to manage those things. We can have a discussion, you can meet us, and we'll discuss on this. And other features, whatever we have been talking of this thing, condition monitoring and other things. Of course, this being a small plant, those things could not be adapted there because the requirements are not so high. But even to some extent, these condition monitoring, alarm trend analysis of even the vibration signals and other things, we have been doing it as a part of the DCS trending and other things. So this is what our experience. So we have had a very good customer who has supported us right from the design stage up to the commissioning stage. We have been interacting with him, so it is a mutual win-win situation, so with which we are going through. Thank you very much.